There are some days that you never quite forget. For me, one such day is the 11th of August 2014. On this day, I walked into Manchester Metropolitan University. I wanted to study law, and I was there for my final interview. I had taken just one act towards a future that I had envisioned for myself when I was a young child. You see, growing up in Zimbabwe, I always wanted to be a lawyer. So when people would ask me, what do you want to be when you grow up? I would always say, I want to be a lawyer. But people would laugh, or they would just look at me with pity in their eyes, because I was never an academic child. In fact, I was almost always bottom of my class. But with the enthusiasm of a 10-year-old child, I held on to that dream. And then, years later, I came to the UK, and I decided to do NVQs. These were qualifications that would allow me to get into university. I had taken just one act. So, as I walked in to Manchester Metropolitan University on this day, I was prepared. If you'd been preparing for a dream for as long as I had, you leave nothing to chance. So as I sat there, this lady asking me questions, I answered with all the confidence that I could muster. Everything that they wanted of me, I was prepared for, up until the very last question. I wasn't prepared for this one, but ironically, this was just a generic question. What they asked me was, is there anything that you might tell us that might interfere with your study at the college? In that moment, I stopped and I looked down. I panicked because what I was about to tell this lady was going to derail my dream. So I said, this afternoon at 3 o'clock, I got told that I've got breast cancer. See, let me take you back a few hours earlier that day. I had walked into our local cancer center, and I sat down only to be told that I had breast cancer. I was so unprepared for this news because I was only 36 years old. There was no history of cancer in my family. I had never smoked a day in my life, and I hardly drank. So me being told this news really caught me off guard. I was so unprepared that I had brought no one to this appointment with me. So unprepared, in fact, I hadn't thought it necessary to cancel my appointment at 6 o'clock at the university that day. So as I walked out of the doctor's office and sat in the car park, my mind was in turmoil. What do you do when you've just received the worst news of your life? Was I supposed to call my parents in Africa and tell them? Was I supposed to call a friend and cry on their shoulder, or just go and bury myself under a duvet and hope this will all go away? You see, I don't know, because I did none of these things. What I did was take just one act. I drove to Manchester Metropolitan and towards my dream. So as I sat there, knowing that I've just shot myself in the foot, I didn't expect anything to come out of this interview, except the very next day I received an email telling me that I had a place. And that was a moment. But you see, this is the thing about courage and dreams. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. Sometimes there's actual failure, and sometimes there is perceived failure. Now, I would like to stand here in front of you and tell you that I then went on and finished my law degree and graduated, and now I'm a high-flying lawyer. But I can't. Because just 3 months later, I quit. I was faced with trying to look after my 2 children as a single mother, working full-time because I couldn't afford to work part-time, trying to study part-time, and trying to go through cancer treatment. It was a hard act, and something had to give. So I had to give up my dream that I had held on for all of my life. And this made me spiral into depression. There were days when I just didn't want to get out of bed. There were days when I would forget to go and pick up my kids from school. And I knew something had to give. I needed to get myself out of this dark place that I was in. So I decided to try something out of desperation. I decided that I was going to wake up every single morning. I would have a shower, put a nice frock on, put my makeup on, and put some high heels on. I decided to call this my lipstick and heels. Somehow it worked. I don't know, something changed. I guess it was the fact that in a world where I was losing control in every other part of my life, I had suddenly gained control. Instead of worrying about my hair that was falling out or worrying about my breast that had been cut off, I was worrying about whether my handbag would match my shoes or whether my dress would match my eyelashes and my wig. And suddenly I took just one act and dragged myself out of this dark place that I was in. And this carried on for a while and life was good until I started losing my eyelashes and my eyebrows. Now, I wasn't prepared for this. When I started my cancer journey, I'd been told that my hair was going to fall out. But no one had told me about my eyebrows and eyelashes. So this hit me harder than I could have anticipated. So off I went to the shops and I bought myself some eyebrow pencils and some false lashes. The eyebrows were easy. I drew them on. But when it came to my eyelashes, it was a different story. I realized that ironically, at a time when you actually need false lashes, it's very difficult to wear them when you do not have your own existing lashes. You see, your existing lashes act as a ledge that hold false lashes in place. And without that ledge, false lashes tend to drop, and it's very difficult to wear them. And I knew that if I was having this problem, there must be other people who were having the same problem. So I decided to take just one act. I sat at my kitchen table and I told myself I was going to make a lash that other people like me could wear. I came up with a prototype and I started knocking on doors. And I got a lot of people saying no to me. I didn't care. I had fire in my belly and I knew this product was needed, so I kept knocking on doors until one day I got a call back from Boots. I went in, I pitched my idea, and they loved it. They put me in touch with ILO, and we developed this lash. And in 2019, we took just one act. We launched our lashes in both stores, and to date, they are available in over 8 countries in the world. So, this is the thing about having the courage to take just one act. You may make things happen. And by making things happen for yourself, you might change your life and the life of those around you. It's now 8 years since that day when I walked into the university. And I've learned a few things. I have learned that when you step forward and step up and take just one act, amazing things can happen.